Good afternoon, everyone. I want to do an update showing you what's growing in the seed trays that I have down here in the basement. I planted a couple more seed trays last weekend of just some morning glory and some lupine, so I'll show you those when they pop up. But I want to show you the progression of the seedlings that I'm planning on planting out when the weather gets a little better in May. It is now April 17th, and we're in New Jersey Zone 6A. Which is closer to a zone 5 than a zone 7. And the weather's still pretty chilly outside, very windy, a lot of cloudy days, so we're really looking forward to having warmer weather soon. And these seedlings will be ready, a lot of these seedlings will be ready to plant outside in mid-May. So right now, I just want to show you some close-ups of what has been growing, and I'll give you the dates as to when I planted these. Right here is Bells of Ireland. It's the first time I've planted these at all, and it's an annual plant grown for its foliage, and it's in a lot of bouquets, and I just wanted to try growing it this year. And it's getting pretty tall fairly quickly. I do have these grow lights very close to the tops of the trays, but for whatever reason these just really sprouted out quickly and they look a little leggy, but they look very healthy so far. And then in the back, that is Dusty Miller growing, and these were all planted around 3.5 weeks ago. So as you can see, the Dusty Miller just took a little longer to germinate, but most of the cells have little seedlings in them, and it's doing okay. So I'll move on to the next tray. Okay, so here we have a tray of Morning Glory that I planted just a few days ago, about 5 days ago, and you can see how quickly they germinated. In this particular tray, I just bought cardboard inserts. You can get these cardboard little inserts at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I just fill them with my seed starting mix rather than using the plastic inserts. So I had a lot of leftover just base trays, and I just didn't have the plastic inserts for some of them, so I had to buy the cardboard ones, which work equally as well. They're actually a little bit bigger than the plastic insert ones, so they work better for plants like, you know, lupine and morning glory that grow faster. So this is morning glory. There's a couple different varieties of morning glory growing in here. And here's one seed. I'll try to zoom in. That's a seed that's about to germinate right there. It looks like a little spider. So that's what they look like when they're first popping up. I'll show you some more. Okay, so this right here is Gloriosa Daisy, which I really overseeded. I made a mistake and I put too many seeds in each cell. And the reason I did that is because the seeds were about 5 years old. I found them in the basement, realized I hadn't, used the seed packet, and I overplanted. So I'll probably plant these outside pretty soon just because they're so crowded and I want to get them separated. But they're looking very healthy. And Gloriosa Daisy is a perennial, and I'll be interested to see if it can resist or withstand the deer that we have here in Zone 6A in New Jersey. And then in the back there is an annual that I'm growing for the first time called Status, and that's doing pretty well. The germination rates were fairly high, not as high as some other seeds, but I would say maybe 80% germination rate on the Status. This seed tray is where I made another mistake. Everything's growing okay, but I did have a little extra moisture in this seed tray, as well as another seed tray. I had planted these seeds in a tray that had been sitting around in the basement for a week with water in it already wet for a whole week. I just had a chance to start the seed tray and didn't have a chance to finish planting, so this seed tray got really damp, and there's a lot of moss growing here. So everything's doing okay right now, but I just wanted to explain where all the green is coming from. It's just from extra moisture. So in the back there is lace flower, which is doing great, and I hope to have those blooming by, maybe early June. And then in the front there's a little bit of Veronica on the left side, the left 2 rows. And then over here is more Status growing. This tray is straw flower, And it looks like some of the trays have much bigger leaves than the others, but they were all started around the same time. This was about 3.5 weeks ago that I started this seed starting tray, and along with one of my other seed starting trays, there's a little too much moisture in some of the trays, so there's some moss growing. Typically you wouldn't want to have so much moisture in your seed starting trays. So, but they're doing okay. This last seed starting tray is probably the healthiest tray that I have, and it's full of Gaillardia, which is blanket flower, as well as Yarrow. So Yarrow has these ferny leaves. So in the front it's all Yarrow. There's a couple varieties of Yarrow. And then the back half of the seed starting tray is full of Gaillardia, 2 different varieties. So they're doing pretty well. They're growing pretty slowly, which is fine. These are perennials. They're very, very hardy perennials. They withstand a lot of drought and heat, and they withstand poor soil, and they are deer resistant. So I'm glad to be growing more blanket flower and Yarrow this year. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, both new and old, and thank you so much for watching.